Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Recha, Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Judges, the 17th chapter. And this is Judges chapter 17, verse 1. Now, having dealt with the story of Samuel, right? Now, with the book of Judges, it's a compilation of, events, obviously, that took place during the roughly, I believe it's about 400 years of the period of Judges. How long did the period of Judges last? Yeah, so give or take. Let's see. Somewhere within 300, 400, give or take. So anyway, you had different events that took place within that span of time. Now, it's not necessarily that they were all in chronological order as you read it, through, meaning that it's not necessarily the case that, say, Judges 17 comes after the events of Samson or, X, Y, and Z. And there was a man of Mount Ephraim whose name was Micah. And he said unto his mother, The 1100 shekels of silver that were taken from thee, about which thou cursest, meaning you basically put a curse out on anybody who took it, and spakest of also in mine ears, right? Oh, you complaining about your shekels that have been missing. Behold, the silver is with me. I took it. So he basically confessed that he took the money. And his mother said, Blessed be thou of the Lord Yahweh, my son. Meaning, she blessed him for coming clean. And when he had restored the 1100 shekels of silver to his mother said, I had wholly dedicated the silver unto the Lord Yahweh from my hand for my son. Meaning, had is not, she doesn't mean past tense here, but she means like she is going to dedicate that, in honor of her son onto the Lord. But what you'll notice here is that, as it mentions in the 6th verse, that at this point in time, there wasn't any centralized form of authority. And so everybody did what they thought was, as it's gonna say, right in their own eyes. And this often led to a mix between, the Lord's ways and pagan practices. So hence she says she's going to dedicate this silver unto the Lord, but then she turns around and says she's going to make a graven image, right? To make a graven image, which is an idol, and a molten image. Now, therefore, I will restore it unto thee. See? So this right here was a, who goes to show you that mix right there. Long story short, she basically said she was going to make an idol, and for her son, and that's how she would restore it onto him, by returning that silver in idol form. Yet he restored the money unto his mother, and his mother took 200 shekels of silver and gave them to the founder. So of the 1100, she ends up taking 200. She pays the founder, and this is somebody who, like a smith, who would carve or engrave or make this idol. So she makes the idol, or she gets the founder to make it, right? Who made thereof a graven image and a molten image. And they were in the house of Micah. And the man Micah had an house of gods, and made an ephod and a teraphim, which is an idol, and consecrated one of his sons, who became his priest. So he had like a whole shrine. He had these idols, and he basically assigned one of his sons to be the priest. In those days there was no king in Israel, but every man did that which was right in his own eyes. Hence, you have a case like this going on. And there was a young man out of Bethlehem, Judah, of the family of Judah, who was a Levite, and he sojourned there. And the man departed out of the city from Bethlehem, Judah. So he lived in Bethlehem, Judah, and then eventually he left to sojourn where he could find a place. So he left searching for Salaki. He left searching for a new place to stay. And he came to Mount Ephraim, to the house of Micah, as he journeyed. So eventually, in his search, he ends up here at Micah's place. And Micah said unto him, Whence comest thou? And he said unto him, I am a Levite of Bethlehem, Judah, and I go to sojourn where I may find a place. So I'm from Bethlehem, Judah, but I'm looking for a place to stay. And Micah said unto him, Dwell with me, and be unto me a father and a priest. Now, when it says a father and a priest, the part where it says father doesn't mean like I actually be like a father, but more like guidance, because he was a Levite, so he would satisfy to some degree or have some foreknowledge, and he could be a good priest. And I will give thee 10 shekels of silver by the year, so I'll pay you annually 10 shekels of silver, and a suit of apparel, which is, I'll give you change of clothes, and thy victuals, and I'll feed you. So the Levite went in. And the Levite was content to dwell with the man, and the young man was unto him as one of his sons. And Micah consecrated the Levite, and the young man became his priest. So that's why it says as one of his sons, because remember originally in the chapter he had appointed one of his sons to be the priest. So he also consecrated this Levite to be one of his priests as one of his sons. And Micah consecrated the Levite, and the young man became his priest, and was in the house of Micah. Then said Micah, Now know I that the Lord Yahweh will do me good, seeing I have a Levite to my priest. So in his mind, once again, everybody did what they thought was right in their own eyes. He figured, oh, now I have a Levite that's my priest, so I'm definitely, gonna be in good hands. And that brings us to the end of the book of Judges, the 17th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rechak Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.